Hi there, crafty friends. This is Leah Lawson, and I am thrilled to be back on the Scrapbook.com YouTube channel. Today, I have a really fun fall-themed card set to share with you, and I can't wait. So how about we get started? Today, I am featuring the Cozy Autumn Rub-On transfers. Now, I have had these in my stash for a while, and I just absolutely love them. Today, I am going to use them on just some nice smooth white cardstock, and I have a really fun technique to show you in a moment. But let's start by cutting out the different rub-on images that we want to adhere to our cardstock panels. Now, while I am cutting, let's chat about this set of rub-ons first. Now, there are two 6x8 sheets of rub-ons in this Cozy Autumn set. There are 9 of these somewhat larger sentiments that you can use. So, really, truly, you can get at least 9 cards out of this set of rub-ons, which I think is such a fantastic deal. There are also multiple small words that you can use to create either a secondary sentiment, or you can add to these larger sentiments that they have created for you. And then, of course, there are just some really beautiful fall-themed filigree elements like flowers and pumpkins and leaves and sprigs and greenery. So this is a really super fun set. I think that you will love creating with it. So I am just starting to create my panels. So you'll see I've got sweater weather wreath at the top, and then the Hello Pumpkin underneath it, and I have cut out a little pumpkin that will add to that. So for the next set, I am going to cut out the Harvest Wishes, which is so cute. I love the multicolored letters, and it goes perfectly with that sweet little row of hearts. So I'm going to add that to the Harvest Wishes panel as well. And then finally, we will grab the Thankful. Thankful. I love that one too. So truly, if you grabbed these rub-ons, you could do every single sentiment on here. You could just do a big batch of fall-themed cards and it would be super fun. Now, I am using the Scrapbook.com titanium 7-inch extra sharp scissors. I just started reaching for them, and let me just tell you guys, I absolutely love these scissors. If you don't have them, I highly recommend grabbing them. They cut like butter. So now that I have all of the rub-ons cut out, I am going to take the backing paper off of them and adhere them down to my cardstock panels. When I start adhering that cute little pumpkin, I just noticed that there is too much overlapping. So in the end, I'm going to end up putting the pumpkin on later at a different time. I tried to do it, but I wanted it to be a little closer to the hello. You see, I'm kind of fussing with where I want to put it, and then realizing that I want it to be a little closer to that word hello, so I'm just going to go ahead and add it later. So then I'm going to arrange the second cardstock panel, starting with the Harvest Wishes, and then we'll go ahead and center the hearts underneath it. And once again, I am removing that backing paper because now is the time that soon enough we are going to get these elements adhered down to our cardstock. Now, I cannot take credit for this upcoming technique. I am pretty certain that I learned it in the comments of another video here on the Scrapbook.com channel, or a live, I believe. But I thought it was ingenious, and so I had to try it for myself, and I was so 100% thrilled when it worked. So I'm going to adhere the rub-ons down with my die cut machine rather than using the popsicle stick that's included. So I'm using my Spellbinders Platinum, and here I am showing you the sandwich that I am using to accomplish the getting the rub-ons to adhere down to the paper. So once you have completed your sandwich, it's a little tight, but not overly tight. It still easily runs through your die cut machine. I am then running that sandwich with the rub-on cardstock panel, through it, and I'm running it both forwards and backwards. And when you pull up that release paper, it is the most satisfying experience to see that the rub-on transferred beautifully to the cardstock, and you didn't have to use the little popsicle stick. Now, I will use the popsicle stick later to add a little bit of accents here and there. So it still is a very handy dandy tool, and I'm so glad that Scrapbook.com includes it with the rub-ons. But I love that you can do the initial work with a die cut machine. And then you can add the little details, or if maybe when you run it through your die cut machine, a little piece, maybe if it stays behind. I did not have that happen, but if it did happen, you can then use the popsicle stick to fill in those little areas and whatever. But seriously, this is just such a satisfying, it's just such a satisfying thing to watch when you reveal and remove that release paper. And just by running it through your die cut machine, you can press down those rub-ons. So those are the start of our cards. And seriously, what an easy way to make a big batch of cards. I knew I wanted to create some fun fall-themed cards, but I wanted them to come together quickly and easily, and these Cozy Autumn rub-ons are perfect for that. So now you'll see I'm adding some accents here and there. I'm getting to put that little pumpkin right next to the word hello. And instead of running it through my die cut machine, these little accents are perfect for using the popsicle stick that comes with the rub-ons. So great use for using all of your tools for adding these. I'm adding a little heart to the end of the hello pumpkin sentiment, and I just thought that was a cute little added touch. Now, I thought the thankful one needed a little extra something, and I thought the leaves were a kind of a perfect fit. So I cut out a few leaves. I think in the end, I only end up using 2, and I'm just trying to figure out how I want them to look. In the end, I think I add 2 leaves. I kind of center those 2 leaves on the triple word thank you and rub them into place. So this is one where if you ever, a couple tips, hear me. If you're pulling up your release paper, pull your release paper up slowly just in case, especially when you're using the popsicle stick, just in case a little bit is left behind. If you don't fully pull it up, it's easier to actually put it back down into place, and then you can rub over the spot that you missed and really get that into place. And I feel like that's a really good tip, especially on these little smaller elements, and when you're using the popsicle stick versus running it through a die cut machine, that might have a little bit more pressure. It's a good tip for using these little tiny elements on here. So those are the start of our fun Cozy Autumn card set. So now it's time to do some die cutting. Scrapbook.com has a fantastic collection of nested and shaped dies in some really fabulous essentials. So for the sweater weather, we are going to grab that largest nested circle to cut it out. For the Hello Pumpkin, I'm using that third size of the nested stitched flat ovals. I almost missed the flat part to cut it out. For Harvest Wishes, we're using this fun dotted bracket die. It's actually the second largest. It's a little off camera, so you can't see it. And then the scalloped rectangles, we are using the second largest as well for the thank you die. Now I'm going to tape all of these in place with a little bit of mint tape. I am taking the time to get everything nice and centered and, making sure that they will cut out evenly and straight and look really nice on my cards. These cards, in the end, are relatively easy and simple to put together, but they look like you took hours upon hours of time to create. When, in all truthfulness, these took me no more than 30 minutes to put together 4 cards. So we've got our first set run through our die cut machine, and look at how fun those are. I just love the awesome polished edge that those shape dies from Scrapbook.com add to these fun rub-on images. So we're moving on to the other panel. As mentioned, I am just taping down the circle die to cut out the sweater weather. And then we have that flat oval die, which has the fantastic stitched edge. Seriously, if you guys don't have some of the more essential type dies from Scrapbook.com, they are so amazing. And I just realized how much off camera this is. I apologize for that. I did not notice that when I was filming. I promise that I did center the oval die well on the Hello Pumpkin. I think I maybe need to work on my camera angle a little bit, maybe make it not so zoomed in. But there are our fun start of our shaped cozy autumn dies. So now I'm going to use a lot of the same dies, and we are going to cut them again. So I'm going to cut the same size from that scalloped rectangle. We're going to cut the one size larger from the nested stitched labels. Same with the nested stitched flat ovals. We're going to cut the one size larger. And then I'm bringing in the nested decorative circles, and we are going to cut that third one out that has that really fun scallop. And we are going to cut all of those from some ivory glitter cardstock. Now, here are all of those pieces cut out. That circle die is probably the most intricate die I have ever seen, and it cut like butter. So don't worry about that one going through your die cut machine. It cuts beautifully. Now, if you're not a big fan of ivory glitter, you can also cut that from a white glitter or gold or even just cardstock. Now, the background of my card bases are going to be from this fabulous new Ginghams pattern paper set. So many of the colors match these rub-ons just perfectly, and I feel like they are going to give these cards that like really cozy, homespun fall vibe, which is what these cards are all about, right? So I just grabbed some of the patterns that I felt like worked best with the Cozy Autumn rub-ons. So those are the choices of papers. So I've gone ahead and I've adhered them all down to some white card bases. I did decide to flip the card base for that Thankful card and make it a portrait style versus a landscape style. I just thought that it allowed me to do a little bit more with the card coming up. So we're going to start by getting all of the elements adhered down. I am just using some liquid glue, and I am adhering down that Thankful panel first, and then I'm going to take some of those thin foam strips from Scrapbook.com. I love these foam strips. I have like an entire drawer of them, and I reach for them all of the time. And I am just adhering them to the back of that scalloped rectangle frame so that we can pop it up and add a little bit of dimension to this card. Now, I really love to add dimension to my cards, but I know not everybody does, so I do always mention that you can also just glue these down. If you want to make your cards a little bit more post office friendly, that is always an option. You can always just glue everything directly down with your adhesive of choice, whether that's liquid glue, tape runner, double-sided tape, whatever works best for you. I do like to add a little bit of dimension, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that scalloped rectangle frame up over top of the Thankful panel. So up next, we have the Hello Pumpkin. Now, I've already added some foam tape to the back of that panel from Scrapbook.com, and I am going to remove the release paper and then adhere that down to the ivory glitter oval that we cut that's just a little bit larger than the oval that we cut the Hello Pumpkin sentiment from. Now, I already popped up one layer with foam, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down with some liquid glue. And it never fails. When I'm on video or when I'm filming, my liquid glue ends up not wanting to work. So I ended up fussing with it. I think I got it figured out there. And once again, starting to glue it down. So just add a little liquid glue to the back of that panel, and that we have adhered that in place. Now, I think I went and fixed my glue even better, and now we are going to move on to the harvest card. See, I got my liquid glue fixed. So for this one, I am going to glue the Harvest Wishes label directly to the ivory glitter label, and then we're going to pop that entire piece up. So you'll notice that I'm kind of varying where I add the dimension to my card. For me, I like to have the variation. I also like to have the variation when I take photographs of the projects because it allows for some natural shadowing and just for some depth and dimension. Once again, as I mentioned, you can absolutely add the foam adhesive or leave it off. That is completely up to you. And for pretty much all of these cards, I'm just centering everything as best I can directly to the card front. I want to make sure as much of that beautiful gingham paper is underneath. Now, off camera, I went ahead and glued that really intricate scalloped die cut frame to the front already because it was a little fussy and it took a bit of time. So I went ahead and just glued it down with some liquid glue off camera. And then I added some foam adhesive to the back of the sweater weather circle. And then I'm just going to center it as best as I can. And then when done, I want this to fit into an envelope, so I'm just going to trim the little bit of excess scallop from the top and the bottom so that they won't interfere with the envelope. You don't have to do this step. It's completely optional, but I do like when cards fit in envelopes, and I still think that the card looks fabulous, even with the little bit of scallop trimmed away. So those are the initial part of the 4 Cozy Autumn cards. Now, I thought they needed a little something more. So I grabbed a sheet of green cardstock from the Spice pattern paper, the spiced cardstock pad. And I am grabbing these fantastic little bows. Now that bow right there, I'm going to cut twice. And I think that these bows are going to just be the perfect touch. Now these are the Bow Toppers die set from Scrapbook.com. And once again, I'm cutting them from from one of the greens from the Spice pattern, the Spice cardstock paper pad. And once they are all cut out, just look at how cute these little bow toppers are. I think they're just the perfect little added touch to a very simple card set. They're easy to cut out, and they just look really super cute. Now, I've already gone ahead and glued them into place, and now I am just grabbing some self-adhesive gems. These are the Aura AB gems from Spellbinders. They are probably one of my current favorite gems. I reach for them time and time again. They are kind of an iridescent, but they have a warm tone to them. So they're not gold, but they just have a little bit of a warmer tone, which fit perfectly with the warmth of the Cozy Autumn Rub-Ons and then the Ginghams paper in the background. Now, some of these gems are really super tiny, and I have found if you pull them up off of their packaging and then grab a craft pick and grab it with the adhesive end with the craft pick, it makes it a little bit easier to put those little teeny tiny gems down into place. Now, I think once you start to see the photos of the cards, I added a couple more gems here and there where I just thought they needed them. It's not a huge change, and you will definitely get to see them in the photos. Well, that is my Cozy Autumn card set. 4 simple cards. You can create up to 9 with the entire rub-on set. And they are quick and easy to put together, and you'll have some really fabulous cards to send to all of your friends, family, and loved ones for this upcoming fall season. I thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you're interested in any of the products that I used, they are linked below in the video description. And other than that, until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.